it's JC. Welcome to Urban Knife Guy, where we explore the urban lifestyle and jungle survival. Today we're going to talk about choosing a bushcraft fixed blade, but we're going to approach it from a different angle. First, if you watch this channel regularly but have not subscribed, please do so to help the channel out. Thanks. With some popular fixed blades for bushcraft on screen, this is the Mora Companion. Mora Knives from Sweden also makes various other models like the Bushcraft Black or the Mora Garberg. This is the Condor Bushlaw. This is a full-tang knife with walnut handle scales and is patterned after the Ramius Woodlaw knife. This is the Condor Terrasol, also a bushcraft designed knife. This has a full tang but it's a hidden tang in a plastic handle. And finally, we have the Joker Ember. Joker from Spain also has various knives, many of them designed for bushcraft. Do you own any of these knives, or what is your chosen bushcraft fixed blade? Let me know in the comments below. Now, I'm well aware that technically any well-made fixed blade can be used for bushcraft, and there's no such thing as a bushcraft knife. But over time, there's been a general consensus of what a bushcraft knife looks like. A lot is due to the influence of popular figures in bushcraft like Ramius, Les Stroud, Morse Kohensky, to name a few. So for the sake of discussion, I'll be using these knives to represent bushcraft knives. One way people choose a bushcraft knife is to see what is available and what is the latest trend in bushcraft knives. And then they see which one they think looks the best, or they work with one based on their budget. I suggest reframing the question and ask why you're choosing a specific bushcraft knife. Understanding why you need the knife will make it easier to choose the right knife for you. You being the key word. I like to use the analogy of sports shoes. Choosing the right pair of shoes is very personal. Just because 100 people like a pair of shoes does not mean it is the right pair for you. Your chosen sport, your level of skill, shape, and size of your feet are specific to you and no one else. You need to find the pair of shoes that work for you. To get to the why of a bushcraft knife, you need to ask yourself some questions. The first is, what environment are you in? Are you in a tropical jungle environment which is wet and humid all the time? Or are you in a boreal forest or a temperate forest where you might have different needs? You obviously will have different vegetation, a different climate, and therefore it makes sense that the knife needs to fit that environment in order to work for you. Just as important as your environment is what do you exactly do in bushcraft? Now, bushcraft is just a large umbrella term, which means doing stuff out in the wilderness. But everyone's definition or choice of activities in the wild is different, and it's really specific to you. Some people will choose to go the survivor route and they want to live off the land. So bushcraft to them means going out to the wild with minimum equipment, building a shelter, making fire, catching food, doing everything to live in the outdoor environment. But maybe that's not you. Maybe you go out bushcrafting to you is more like camping. You just want to have fun with your family. You do not intend to hunt because you're going to bring your own food, and maybe you need a knife just for general simple tasks, to open packaging, to cut cordage, in which case a knife like this would definitely fit your needs. It's lightweight, it's thin enough to be slicey, and it's very dependable. I should talk a bit about blade grinds as well, because when it comes to bushcraft knives, the general consensus seems to be that Scandi grinds or modified Scandi grinds are the best for bushcraft. Again, it all boils down to what you do in bushcraft. If you do mainly food prep, general camping tasks, lightweight tasks, then you really may want just a full flat grind with a thinness behind the edge, because then it becomes more slicey. If you want to do more wood processing, maybe carving or maybe feather sticking, yes, a Scandi grind might be better. But if you go hunting and you need to dress your game, then you might want a hollow grind and a smaller blade. So really, there's no one grind that fits everyone or is best for bushcraft. The grind fits your needs. Another consideration is whether your bushcraft knife is part of a bigger tool system. In a previous video, I talked about the 3-knife system when I go out for jungle bushcraft. I have a parang, a fixed blade, as well as a folding knife. So that really also makes a difference to the sort of knife you carry, the blade thickness, maybe the grind as well, and the overall size. For myself, I carry a parang, so I can carry any other smaller knife. So technically any of these knives would fit as well, because my parang is the big knife and then I need a smaller slicier knife. In that case, I might go with something with a thinner blade stock, such as this or this, and I believe the Terrasol is about 3.5 millimeters, so that's okay as well. The Joker Ember tends to be a bit thick, and if I want a thinner stock, then I think I probably won't carry this. But again, it depends what you're doing, what are your activities in bushcraft. The next question is, what size knife fits you best? And this is really personal because it's got to do with your physiology. When it comes to handles, you can see we've got handles of all different types of material, from plastic to wood, different types of wood, different types of plastic, different designs, shapes, swelling, size and textures. Now all this is really from the knife designer's perspective to give you the most ergonomic or best grip for your bushcraft knife. Again, since all our hands are different and the way we feel and hold things are different, there's no way to say which is best for you. We can highlight what are the different characteristics of each of the different handles, the benefits, and maybe some challenges or issues that you might face in the wild, but you would have to choose one based on your activity. Now, there's really no way anyone can tell you unless you've tried different knives and you know which knife fits you. And the same applies for the weight of the knife and the overall size of the knife. If you are a small person and you want to carry lightweight tools, you do not want to carry a 6 or 7 inch knife. Likewise, if you're a bigger person and you don't have a big knife, you're carrying one knife, maybe you do want a smaller knife, you aren't going with a knife with a, let's say, a 3.5 or 4 inch blade length. But again, it is a personal choice. You definitely could be someone who is larger in stature but prefer a smaller knife because that fits your needs. Finally, budget. Of course, a practical concern. All these knives come at different price points, and a practical concern is how much money you have to spend on your knife. But I left it for last because I don't think it should be a guiding factor when choosing a knife. So it's tough to say, hey, I only want to spend $20 on a brand new bushcraft knife. In that case, your options are very limited. But if you try to expand that and say, okay, you have $50 to spend and you're willing to go with used knives as well, buying a knife secondhand from someone else, then your choices expand exponentially. So those are the 5 questions you should ask yourself to get to the why of choosing a bushcraft knife. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be the first to admit that in order to get to the knife that I found fit me the best, I had to go through a few. So if you can't buy all the knives that you want to try to make friends with people in the community, or maybe go to a knife shop and see if you can actually feel the knife. Of course, you can't field test it, but at least you get a sense of the weight, the size, and how it feels in your hands. And once again, consider those 5 things I talked about when it comes to the why of choosing a bushcraft knife. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you like the content in general, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.